very first trail run I did was right before we were moving overseas. So I had a lot on my mind because I was preparing to do something I'd never done before, and everything just went away when I was on the trail. I think it brought back just a feeling of being free. Everything just kind of disappears. You don't really worry about anything, you're just out there.
It was my first 50K. It was the Baker Lake 50K. There's a point you're coming back across the dam and you can hear everybody cheering and you can hear the cowbells and everything, and it's just like at that point during a race, you know you're there, you're done. And I just remember like choking up a bit whenever I was coming across the dam, just hearing everybody. I was like, holy crap, I did it. You know, it's like you sort of prove to yourself that you can do it, and you can prove to other people that didn't believe in you at that time.
I never regretted going out on the trails. It always, whether it was hard or whether I was having an excellent day, or sometimes I'd wind up talking to somebody I hadn't before, or just the beauty of the jungle. At the end, it was just always, I did this awesome, amazing thing. I felt so good, pretty much every time.
Mental health has had a huge effect on my life. My brother, my oldest brother, I feel also had mental health issues that went on undiagnosed. I think he suffered with either bipolar or depression, or maybe both. And then he ended up turning to drugs and alcohol pretty severely, where he was just waking up every morning and drinking liquor right out of a bottle, not even eating food. And it just escalated, and it just got worse and worse, and until he eventually overdosed. This is the memory book that I made. I actually made this right after my brother died, and it really helped me work through everything. So it's literally every single picture I could find from his life. Starting with, I tried to put it in chronological order. There's all his elementary school pictures. He got a black eye in that one. He was always in trouble. Yeah, you know, whether or not there had been some different resources available for him, maybe that would have changed things. I don't know. My younger brother goes to Kitsap Mental Health, and he's been going there for over 20 years. And that resource definitely saved him. He was in a bad place. Yeah, the Guinness World Record, I knew I'd wanted to do something, because like I said, I like setting goals. Even a couple months before I was planning on starting, I really hadn't had my cause, like my reason for running, but I knew I needed to have a reason. You know, when it got hard, I knew it was going to get hard that year, and I needed to have something bigger than myself. I just thought of Ty, my brother who's still alive, and I thought of Todd, and I was thinking about mental health and how that kind of connected everything.
I started trail running as an aid for sobriety. At the time, I didn't know when I was doing all that drinking, I was creating a mass grave. And then coming out of that with the running is just proven to be, that's the mental aspect of it. It's like, how do I keep backfilling that hole, and how do I keep from digging more out and going back down into it? The struggle was pretty real. It was in my face. It involved my 2-year-old daughter at the time. I had a heck of a time after she was born, just being able to keep sober and being there for my ex-wife and being there for her. And I think the biggest thing was like 2 years afterwards she was born, I sort of got some reality slapped in my face, and it made me want to sober up. So healing was a major reason that I decided to sober up, because I just wanted her around and I didn't want her to be taken away. So that was the turning point.
Chuck and I, we haven't run together a lot lately, but we've done a lot of long runs in the past, and running has just been a positive. Basically, it's still an addiction. It's still an addiction, but it's a healthy addiction. He's been pretty important for my mental health because he's one of those people. He's one of those handful of people that I can reach out to anytime I want, and I know he's there for me.
My son Tyler dealt with depression, and he was one who he really just didn't want to deal with it. I think he kind of had the less healthy mentality of, actually, I don't want to know what's wrong. I want to pretend it doesn't exist. So I think initially with Tyler, the biggest struggle is just not even realizing that he had a mental health issue. There was a lot of pent-up negative emotion, and he got a hold of his dad's whiskey and started drinking. He just got really angry and started throwing things, and behavior that I'd never actually seen from him in person. And Tyler was arrested, and as far as I know, there was nobody there to guide him. You can't go home because he was charged with domestic violence. So he can't go home. He didn't have his wallet, he didn't have a phone, he didn't have any money, and they just dropped him off. And that just seems like such a dangerous position for anybody. And then for the next 4 months, he was just gone. And they found him a mile from our house, hanging from his neck in a tree. And I think he'd been there for that whole 4 months. I don't think he went anywhere. If there was somebody, when Tyler had been dropped off, who could say, these are some of your options. We have these resources. You can't go home, but you can go here, and we have these therapists that you can talk to. And if he had more resources, maybe things would have turned out differently.
We did Badger 50-50, which is 50 miles the first day and 50K the second day, and this is in March. And she had found out about her son the month before, about her son committing suicide. Mary and I really, we can kind of complement each other sometimes, and she's a stronger climber than me. So she was just, you know, going up those hills, and she's like, we are finishing. She's like, we are finishing this race. And when she said it, I knew at that moment, like, it was more. It was like more than finishing. There was something deeper for her. And I'm like, okay, I just gotta try to hold on to her. And when we get up to the top, then I can kind of go ahead, and I can kind of go a little bit faster on the downhill. So then she's behind me trying to catch up. And by the time we got to that last climb and we knew we were gonna finish, we were flying. We were flying down that last hill into the finish line. And that's my favorite photo of the whole year, is I'm coming around a corner and she's right there with me. And it's just, that's what it's all about. Like, and our friendship, and she needed to work through that, and it just helped her so much getting through what she needed to get through. And yeah, definitely my favorite moment. And the fact that somebody caught a picture was unbelievable.
I think whether it's the death of Tyler or anything else that I'm struggling with, I think pushing your body and trail running is a great way to do it. I mean, it helps take my mind off it, or I can think through it. You know, it can go in both directions. But yeah, it's a great platform to go out and think and just kind of release some of those emotions. And I found that I have to be careful about crying, because if I cry while I'm running, I can't breathe. So
we can talk about these things, and don't be scared when someone comes to you with something that's heavy or deep, or you might not know the solution to. And just realize that most of the time it is people just needing to talk and needing a support network.
You know, everybody has a story, and to be out there and to be supportive of their story, just, you know, if people listen, that's enough for me. And if people want to talk, I'm more than happy to listen to them. I think that part, the camaraderie of the trail running community, is what keeps me in it. And like, I just want to, meet everybody with their stories and like see what happens.